breaking right now.
A gut-wrenching scene in South Richmond.
We just need people to just grab their loved ones and hold them close.
A 9-year-old boy killed defending his 12-year-old sister from a sexual assault in their own backyard. We're live as the manhunt stretches into the night.
Richmond's #1 News at 11 starts from the Breaking News Center.
We've been following this story from the beginning, breaking it and warning the public first on air and online. I'm Sabrina Squire in the Breaking News Center.
And I'm Kurt Autry, live in South Richmond at one of the most gut-wrenching crime scenes this city has seen in years. A 9-year-old boy dead, his 12-year-old sister clinging to life in the hospital. And according to the aunt of these children, the girl was being sexually assaulted, and that's when her little brother jumped in and tried to protect her, and that's when he died. Let me give you a better idea of where I'm physically planted. This crime happened in the backyard of a home here on Brandon Road. That's just about a block away from East Belt Boulevard. A manhunt is underway right at this very moment. Police are releasing few details, and the description they provided so far is not very precise. A white male, he's said to be tall with a scraggly beard. Now, soon after we broke this story, the family of these children shared their heartache with NBC 12's Kelly Avellino, and Kelly joins me now. And this is a situation, I guess, Kelly, where these two kids were just playing in their own backyard.
In their own backyard near some train tracks. Now, I spoke with several family members and loved ones of these two children, and everyone is obviously in extreme disbelief and despair right now. I'm told that the little boy of this girl who was getting raped tried to defend her, and he was killed while doing so. Obviously an extremely tragic crime here tonight. The entire family's world is just shattered. A loved one too distraught to have her face shown tells me the family of these two children is barely coping.
Because nobody expects something like this to happen to their babies and their family.
Relatives tell me the girl and her younger brother were playing in the backyard near train tracks. They tell me a stranger then approached the sister, attacked her, and started to rape her. The boy tried to defend her, but the family tells me the man then struck him in the head with a brick. He didn't survive. His sister is recovering in the hospital.
She just a little traumatized.
An entire family and neighborhood traumatized.
It's upsetting. You know, the kids play with my kids all the time. They were just knocked on the door this weekend.
Now, this family must try and make sense and come to terms with the unthinkable.
Just took a ride around the block and she just doesn't understand why her and why her kids.
And I spoke to the little boy's stepfather. He tells me he has just one message tonight to send to the public, and that's never leave your children unattended, even in their own backyard.
Good advice, Kelly. Thank you. Now, this is a crime that happened just a few houses down from a church. There's a church in this residential neighborhood. It's Breaking Every Shackle Ministries. The pastor here knew these children very well. They played in the church parking lot all the time. His name is Ted Huey. He says he's seen with his own eyes police forensic teams and a canine unit right behind these houses, scouring the railroad tracks for any sign of a suspect tonight.
I saw them with their dogs, and I would believe that at this moment they have forensic teams out behind walking the tracks to figure out what's going on, to see if they can identify something that's going to lead them to whomever done this.
Now let's go over that description one more time. It's really not much to work with at this time. The description: tall, white male, scraggly beard. If you have any information that might help police, please call Crime Stoppers at number 780-1000. Hey, and just a reminder, this is a fluid situation. It's going to change by the minute. The best way to stay on top of this story is with the NBC 12 Breaking News app. That's where we broke this story. We'll continue to stay on it. We'll have crews here for you all night. And again, don't go to bed just yet. We're going to talk to police in just a few minutes, and I'm going to get a better idea of where they are with this manhunt. And of course, I'm going to keep you posted on social media, so have your phone handy as well. Sabrina, I'll be back with you shortly.
Just a horrific tragedy. Thanks, Kurt. And this is not the only breaking news story we're following at this late hour. We're live on the scene of a deadly crash on Interstate 295 in Hanover. Authorities tell us a tow truck driver was stopping to assist a vehicle at the time, but it is unclear who the victim is. Moments ago, the two right lanes that were closed for this crash near Meadowbridge Road reopened. We will alert you the moment there are any new details. Disturbing new video tonight of a new and dangerous game being played at schools in our area. Tonight, Richmond Public School leaders promise action after someone records a student being choked until he passes out on school property. New at 11, Chris Thomas joins us now with more. Chris, first, how is that student doing?
Sabrina, I was with him tonight. He's doing just fine, but the family is now planning to press charges. They say this is no laughing matter.
Parents need to talk to their children. This is not a game. This could hurt you.
It's called the chokeout game. This is video of the surprise attack inside the school cafeteria at George Wythe High School. Patricia Chalk was horrified to find the video of the victim, her grandson, on Facebook.
And they all said, "Have you seen the video?" And when I looked at the video, my heart stopped.
The student comes from behind and places the unsuspecting teen in a chokehold until he passes out.
And then you see him holding his arm up and his body's dangling. I was pissed. I was angry. It hurt me. Most of anything, it hurt that he would have to go through that.
Richmond Public Schools releasing this statement saying in part, they will not tolerate behaviors that disrupt instruction or jeopardize the safety of students and staff, and that disciplinary action has been taken.
I want him expelled from school, and I want charges brought against him.
The victim's mother, Chantel Pearson, outraged.
My son got to be known, for the boy choked him out and he's passed out. Like, he ain't have no way to defend himself or nothing.
The family hoping this video will serve as a wake-up call.
Because I feel that other parents need to see this. Other parents need to be aware there's a game called the chokeout game going through Richmond.
And it's not funny.
And it's not funny.
Now, the school says they plan to send a note to parents to stress the appropriate behaviors they expect of students, and they will list the consequences of inappropriate behaviors. For now, Chris Thomas, NBC 12 News.
You wouldn't believe it unless you'd seen that startling video. Thanks, Chris. Also happening right now as we approach the midnight hour, a Richmond jury is still deliberating the fate of a woman accused of killing her newborn and tossing the infant's body in a dumpster on Monument Avenue. That jury has been trying to reach a verdict in the case against Siobhan Robinson since this afternoon. Her attorneys put forth an insanity defense. Jessica Jaglois is live outside the courthouse in downtown Richmond. Jess, bring us up to date on this still developing story.
Now, Sabrina, right now the jury is still deliberating. Will 27-year-old Siobhan Robinson be found guilty of first-degree murder or innocent by reason of insanity? Now, the jury has been deliberating for over 7 hours, and the judge says they can take all the time they need tonight to make their decision unanimously. Now, the jury has a lot to consider in this case. Now, we know that the massage therapist gave birth at work, wrapped her baby in a plastic bag, then threw it in a Monument Avenue dumpster. We also know the baby died of asphyxiation. What the jury is deciding right now is why. Was Siobhan Robinson insane, or were the financial problems and family problems that we've heard in court too much for her, and she just didn't want to have this other baby as a burden? Now, for the last 3 days, we've heard testimony on both sides about that Robinson has been suffering hallucinations. She has PTSD, pregnancy denial. But will the jury let her go because of these mental issues? And of course, that remains to be seen. As for now, I'm going to get right back in court. And of course, if something happens before 11:30, we'll be sure to tell you on air. Otherwise, we'll break this story online. Reporting live in Richmond, I'm Jessica Jaglois, NBC 12 News.
All right, thanks, Jess. New information tonight on that terrifying train derailment in downtown Lynchburg. Right now, 2 rail cars remain in the James River. CSX says it will remove those cars tomorrow. Meanwhile, still no word on what went wrong here. The National Transportation Safety Board's investigation is ongoing at this hour. As soon as there are any updates, count on us to bring them to you. We're watching the latest developments in the trial for Randy Taylor, the man accused of abducting and killing a Nelson County teenager. A jury was seated just a few hours ago. Opening statements will get underway in less than 10 hours. Crews have searched for 17-year-old Alexis Murphy since last August, and there's been no sign of a body. NBC 12 has crews in Nelson County covering this trial from start to finish. Happening now, roads are closed as the city of Richmond prepares for the Collegiate Road National Cycling Championships. East Broad Street is already closed in both directions, as are several stretches of 5th and 3rd Streets. Of course, even more roads are set to be shut down in the morning, and these closures will last throughout the weekend. For a full list, go to NBC12.com. New details in the ongoing legal saga of Tappahannock native Chris Brown. We've learned Brown has another hearing May 9th in Los Angeles, so his attorneys and prosecutors can work out a deal on his probation issues. If no deal is reached, a probation violation hearing will be set. The R&B singer remains in custody in Washington, D.C., where he's awaiting trial on an unrelated assault charge. New at 11, you drop your kid off after school at the Boys and Girls Club and assume they're safe. Well, tonight, a disturbing account from a mother who says her 14-year-old got pregnant at the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Richmond and Hopewell and had a baby. The perpetrator was convicted of carnal knowledge of a child. The club says it has no legal responsibility. On Your Side, investigator Diane Walker talks with all sides in this tragedy and explains why the young victim and her mother called us to go public now.
Sabrina, Glennis Evans was insulted and got angry when the Boys and Girls Club offered her $5,000 just a few weeks ago. She calls it hush money to keep quiet. The club's attorney tells me it was a settlement offer to avoid additional legal fees. You see, Glennis filed a $2.5 million lawsuit, and the club worked to get it dismissed on several grounds, including an arcane Virginia law.
Left. Yeah. Right. Right.
Nicholas is almost 2 and is really loved despite how he came into this world. All is good in the arms of his now 17-year-old mother when Tiara isn't crying about the Boys and Girls Club.
I didn't know that was going to happen to me, and I didn't want it to happen. They said that I was lying and that they didn't believe me. The director used to talk about me to my friends.
What did they say you were lying about?
About him raping me.
Reginald Jackson was charged with forcible sodomy and abduction. The senior and star football player for Hopewell High pled guilty to a lesser charge of carnal knowledge of a child and registered as a sex offender. I talked to him twice on the phone. Reggie says he had just turned 18, didn't know Tiara was 14, and the two were thinking about dating. He says Tiara initiated the meeting. Her mom, Glennis Evans, says it's not true. Glennis says it was a violent sex act. Her baby girl didn't seduce Reggie. She says it happened in a vacant second-floor room while the building was full of other children and staff.
I do believe he raped my daughter. The last time we were in court and we saw him, she just got in a fetal position.
On the floor in court?
In court.
Glennis says security lapses led to the sexual abuse of her then 14-year-old daughter September 2011. Tiara had been a club member since she was 6.
I wasn't out clubbing. I wasn't out shopping at home. I'm at work, and I paid a fee for my child to go after school. I try to put her in a safe environment. They just let somebody come in the building that was not a member, come in the club, grab her and do whatever he wanted to do.
A statement from the club's attorney says in part they leased part of the building, which the Hopewell football team also used. It says after a thorough investigation, it concluded Tiara's claim was highly questionable factually and that there's no case for legal liability. The charitable immunity doctrine and the club's deep pockets are why Glennis says she dropped her $2,500,000 lawsuit for damages.
I do believe my daughter was raped.
And this doctrine allows them to do what?
Not be financially responsible.
Charities are immune from liability based on claims of negligence by people who benefit from their services. The law's original intent was to protect charities from bankruptcy. Today's critics say it's a bat to stave off liability.
She didn't matter and I don't matter. And what happened to her, that didn't matter either.
Before the court hearings to dismiss the suit, Glennis got a $5,000 non-disclosure offer to settle. She rejected that money and dropped the suit.
I think the $5,000 was simply hush money so that I would just sit and be quiet and not tell what happened, to just keep it under wraps, a slap in the face. I'm a so-called nobody. Oh, just give that single parent $5,000 just to shut her up. So for me, just to tell my story so that this won't happen to anybody else, so that other parents that are working and just trying to do the best they can for their kids will just know.
This letter went out to parents after what happened to Tiara, and the program has moved to a new building. Now members have to check in using a security system before entering the building. The club says it wishes the best for Tiara and her family. We take very seriously the trust our kids' families give us. Staff receive regular training, and we are in full compliance with the Virginia Department of Social Services licensing requirements. When you look at Nicholas, do you think of that day?
No, I tried to erase everything that happened.
I was told that when you look at him, you'll see his father and you'll see that he came through a product of rape, but I don't see that. I see my little grandson, bright. I mean, he's my joy. I don't see any bad in him.
Reggie says he's not sure he's the father. He hasn't had a DNA test. Like Tiara, his life changed too. The 6'1", 260-pound athlete had a full college scholarship and lost it, and says it's not easy finding a job when you're a convicted sex offender. Tiara was in her 7th month when her mom realized her 14-year-old was pregnant. Virginia is one of 10 states that has a charitable immunity law, and the takeaway here is if something really bad happens to your child in a program run by a charitable organization, you may not be able to sue for damages. On your side, investigator Diane Walker.
This is breaking news from NBC 12.
It's important that we update you on that breaking news out of South Richmond. Take a look at this live scene of Brandon Road just off Broad Rock Boulevard. That is where an active manhunt is unfolding at this hour. Loved ones say a 9-year-old boy was struck with a brick and killed while defending his 12-year-old sister from a man family members say sexually assaulted the girl. We're told that suspect struck the little boy, killing him. The girl survived and is right now in the hospital. We only have a vague description of the suspect. He's said to be a tall white male with a straggly beard. If you are in the area and see anything suspicious, call 911 immediately or Crime Stoppers at 780-1000. You can always remain anonymous. Now, Kurt Autry is still in position on the scene working to gather the latest information from police. We'll send it back to Kurt for another live report in less than 10 minutes.
Tomorrow's forecast tonight in high definition. This is NBC 12 First Warning Weather.
Alrighty, we look at our NBC 12 sky cam. Clear skies, well, cloudy skies, but no precipitation around here. Relatively calm weather tonight over the area. We have Elephant Insurance Net Computers now, Cherokee Road, Trinity Episcopal School, Deep Run High School, Cold Harbor Elementary School, all in the upper 60s now. But notice the wind direction. Still coming in from the south and southwest, keeping our temperatures up to rather lofty levels for this time of the evening. 69 still at Richmond Airport. We have that wind from the south now, so our dew points have actually gone up a little bit tonight rather than gone down, so it's getting a bit more humid outside. And we have to get this upper level system out of here. I'll show you the big map in a second, but that's what's keeping the clouds and a few showers going. We have river flood warnings continue for the Appomattox and for the James River. The Appomattox cresting about a foot over flood stage this weekend. The James at Richmond's West Ham gauge is now cresting right now at about 15 feet, just shy of that. Expected to go below the 12-foot flood stage tomorrow evening, but stay above 9 feet through the better part of the weekend. And 9 feet is that critical level where you don't want to get on the river. You have to have a special permit to get on the river at 9 feet or higher, and anything higher than 5 feet can be considered dangerous. You need a life jacket. So the river level is going to be too high, really, for most folks to get out there. And we look at the rain. We had all the rain upstream, of course, that causes rises in the river. We have more rain now over northern Virginia and scooting across the northern part of the northern neck. Not so much of it down in our part of the state, but there is some cloudiness lingering. And then there's that upper level low still up here in the upper Midwest. And the upper level winds kind of around that, behind this rather, into the next few days, we'll try to channel a little more moisture. And I think Saturday now, we could sneak in a couple of showers. and then again next week with that kind of pattern in play. All right, your hour forecast of balance for tonight. Could be a couple showers north of Richmond, but that moves on out. We start with a little sun tomorrow, then a little bit of cloudiness and sun mix. Nice spring day, though. Temperatures will be quite comfortable through the day. Talking highs in the low to middle 70s. Finally dropping into the mid-50s later tonight, about 54 degrees early tomorrow morning. A mix of sun and clouds through the day with high temperatures again around 74. And we have the bike race this weekend, starts tomorrow, and the Collegiate Road National Championships. Weather-wise, maybe some showers Saturday now, the way it looks to me, but mainly nighttime showers Sunday. High temperatures will be 70s to near 80 by late this weekend. And 20% rain chance Saturday, 10% Sunday. Rain chances go up a little more on Monday night and Tuesday. This will be the day, I think, where best chance of more widespread rain, and temperatures running near seasonable levels, if not a tiny bit below early next week, warming up to above normal toward the end of next week. We'll have more news ahead.
Affordable solar power is finally here for your home. The Diva of Discounts breaks down the cost, savings, and how long until you make your money back. But don't wait. The deal won't last long. Watch Friday at 5 on NBC 12 News.